Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Keltner channels. Have you tried them? If not, you might want to test them out with virtual or demo trading. Do not test anything out with real money. All right, you want to make sure it works first before you actually commit any capital to it. But I like the Keltner channels a lot. You might like Bollinger Bands. Well, this one is a little different. It has, like Bollinger Bands, it has an upper line, a midline, and a lower line. Sure, yeah, okay, I get it. But also it utilizes the ATR, the average true range, into the formula. And so you get a volatility component that is different from the volatility component of Bollinger Bands, okay? And so this is really something to consider. And so just want to give you some thoughts on this one. I'm using the standard settings for the Keltner channels on tradingview.com. And for an example, I'm showing the 1 minute candlestick chart for Netflix stock. But all the ideas I'll be thinking of today could be applied to different time frames, daily candles, 5-minute candles, whatever it is. So since the average true range is incorporated into the formula, the bands here, the lines of the Keltner channels, do a pretty good job of containing the candles because they adjust to where the candles are. And there's an EMA, an exponential moving average, in the middle as well in the formulation. And so most of the time you'll notice, just by looking at this and in your own experience with Keltner channels, you'll notice that the candles are inside of the Keltner channels most of the time. It's not very often that the candles are outside of the Keltner channels. And if they are outside, it doesn't stay that way for very long. They come back in a lot of the time. So since we know this, then sometimes I see people recommending a breakout strategy. Like if a candle closes above the upper line of the Keltner channels, that's a time to buy, some people might say. But since we know that there's a volatility component and an exponential moving average in the calculation of the Keltner channels, and since we know that the candles generally stay within the Keltner channels most of the time, and that a lot of the time, even if there's a close above, if there's a breakout, a lot of the time those candles will come right back inside the Keltner channels there. Not every time, but a lot of the time. So that leads me to conclude that if there's a break above the upper line here of the Keltner channels, I'm not going to bet that it's going to keep going. It might keep going up the next candles, but look what happened here. Came right back into the channels there, right back down into them. Look over here. Yeah, a couple of breakouts, but then right back into the channels. Interesting, okay? It could keep going up, but I don't know if I'm going to bet on that happening. If anything, this could be a place to sell if you already bought, okay? If you got the candle breaking above the upper line or even just touching the upper line of the Keltner channels, that might be time to sell. Look how consistently, not every time, there are no guarantees here, but look how consistently the candles stay within the Keltner channels here, okay? It touched the lower line here of the Keltner channels. That could have been a place to buy, possibly, and then it stayed within the channels, then went up and hit the upper line, and then went above it, yeah, but not for very long. Came right back in. Went above, but came right back in, and then hit that lower line there, okay? So you could have sold around here somewhere, waited patiently, touched that lower band there, and then up, right? Okay? And yeah, went above, but does that mean, okay, you had a breakout. Does that mean it's going to keep going? Well, not in this case. Came right back down, back into the Keltner channels. So you could have sold here when it hit that upper line or broke above it for a nice profit if you bought down here. Came back down to the lower line here. You could have bought here if you wanted to. Wait patiently, hit that upper line. Is it a breakout? Not really, more of a head fake. Could have sold here because it came right back down. You get the idea, okay? There are going to be times when it breaks above and then keeps going, sure. There are going to be times when it hits the lower band and keeps going down, sure, yes, that is going to happen. But again, I want to emphasize that the Keltner channels do a pretty good job of containing. So here's an example of, yes, here's a breakout, okay? Broke out above and then kept going. All right. So that does happen. All right. So you want to test it out with that virtual or demo trading, see whether the breakout trading or is what you want to do, or whether you want to bet on, wager on the candles staying within the Keltner channels, which seems to be pretty consistent most of the time. Again, no guarantees. All right. So test it out on your own. See which method works better for you. And then no matter what you do, have an exit strategy. Always have an idea of what you're going to do if the trade goes against you, so your losses will be minimized as much as possible. Okay? So I hope you are convinced of the power of Keltner channels. All right, so I'm going to bring you more videos soon. I want to thank you very much for watching and listening. I'll talk to you again very soon.